So during this video, we'll discuss details around the BlueSky Statistics user interface. So when I open BlueSky Statistics 10 the first time, here's what you're going to see. So you're going to see the data grid. Here's where your data sets open. You can have multiple data sets open. You see, when you run your analysis, you see your output on the right-hand part of your screen. You can have multiple output windows. And on the bottom left part, you have the R console window, which allows you to type in R code, or you can open up an R script file using the icon here. You can go ahead and minimize it if you're not interested in running R code. And for the sake of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and keep it open. So let me go ahead and open a file. The path that I'm looking at is program files, BlueSky Statistics, version 10, sample datasets and demos, sample R datasets folder. I'm going to go ahead and open up flights. And as soon as I open up, you open the data set, you will see this open in the data grid. I'm going to open again just to show you the types of formats you can open. You can open up comma-separated Excel, R data, SPSS files. This is our output format, and files in this format will open up in the output window. R script files will open up in the R script files windows. So as I said before, the use of the R console window is optional. If you do want to go ahead and run R syntax, there are several options for running R syntax, and I'd encourage you to use the video running R syntax in the BlueSky Statistics application. You can run R syntax through the output window through creating code chunks as well. The data grid has two panes. There's the data pane, which you're looking at, and the variable pane. Both the data pane and the variable pane are fully interactable, and there's a lot you can do. You can modify data, edit cells, so on and so forth. I'd encourage you to view working with the data and variable pane video that we have that'll talk about the data and variable panes in more detail. The menu structure is fairly straightforward. You have the data wrangling or data manipulation commands first. These are the data manipulation commands that apply to a data set. These are the ones that apply to a variable. Then you have analysis, visualization, model fitting, model tuning, model evaluation, forecasting, and agreement. Let me go back to the data sets top level menu, and you will see a drop down here. This drop down groups together related commands. With reshape, you have wider and longer. On the far right, you also have the options, and these are options that control the number of decimal digits, how p-values that are smaller than the number of digits allocated are displayed. You can definitely play around with these options. All right, let's go ahead and run some analysis now. I'm going to go under analysis, and I'm going to go to summarize, and let's run some frequencies. The select variable controls are fairly straightforward. If you want to select multiple contiguous variables, just hold the shift button down and select the variables or the first and the last variable. If you want to skip variables, hold the control key. In this case, I'm going to select all the factor variables. You see the icon here. This indicates it's a factor variable. The icon here indicates a numeric variable. This is available on the data set as well. I'll show you that in a moment. But let me go ahead and select the factor variables here. I've got the control key pressed down, and I select the other two variables. So let's quickly go over the buttons on the top of the dialog. These are the buttons that allow you to execute. The first button will execute the dialog and show you output in the output window. The next button will show you the R code that the dialog generates. All our dialogs generate R code that we execute, intercept, and show you nicely formatted output. I'll come to that in a little bit. This gives you a summary help. So you see quick summary help here. There are some functions that dialogs invoke that invoke or call a single R function. There are other functions that we write, which call multiple R functions. And you see this button here. This will invoke the R native help. So I'm going to click this button, and as soon as I click this button, you will see that the help comes up in a browser window. This is the detailed R help. Now, as I said before, there are some functions that we write that call multiple R functions. In that case, we will bring up the R help here associated with the most relevant R function that we invoke. You can get R help on all the others. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and click on this again. This removes the help. So you toggle, you click to show the help, and you click to remove that help. And I'm going to click on the syntax. Let me bring up the dialog again. You see the dialog icon here. This will bring up the dialog, and I can change the criteria. Let's see, I can remove one of the variables. And now let me click the button here. This executes the syntax, and this here are the results in the output. Just to repeat, I can go and click this icon here, and this is like a history. It shows me the criteria that I selected on the dialog. I can also go in and change the criteria or the R code here. And let me go ahead and remove one of the variables. As soon as I change the R code here, I get a message saying that the change that I just made will not be reflected in the dialog, and the dialog will be removed from history. And what you will see here is you will see custom R code instead of the frequency table that we saw before. So that's, as soon as you edit the syntax associated with the dialog, we remove the association with the dialog, because that dialog representation now is different and doesn't match the syntax you just edited. Now you can go ahead and save the output that you just generated. I will click this icon here, and when you save the output, you have the ability to save to HTML, to R Markdown, and the BlueSky format is a choice as well. I'm going to save to BlueSky format. When you look at the training video for saving to R Markdown, and that'll give you more details on how you can save to R Markdown and open the R Markdown in RStudio. For now, I'm going to save to the BSky format or the BSky Markdown format, and I'm going to call it output 1, and I'm going to save this to my documents folder, and I will click export. Now, once I've saved it, I can go ahead and email it to anyone who's running BlueSky Statistics 10, and they will be able to open the output and access the syntax associated with all the commands, and obviously the results of the analysis. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to open Save BlueSky Output. We also call Save BlueSky Output BlueSky Markdown. So in the BlueSky Statistics 10 folder, you have sample BlueSky Markdown. I'm going to select a saved output BlueSky output file, and you see it opens up in a new output window. You can go ahead and create new output windows here. As soon as you create a new output window, new analysis you do will get redirected to the new window. I'm also going to show you how it is easy for you to open up an R script file. Here are some sample R script files again in the 10 folder, and I will select the script file, and you see the script file opens and you can execute it. For more details on running R code within the BlueSky Statistics applications, look at the upcoming video that we have that talks about running our code in BlueSky Statistics. That's a quick video as well. Another important thing I wanted to show you is you can change the zoom. So if you find this the font too small and you want to, let's say, zoom into a table because you're teaching a class, let's say, you can increase the zoom, and the zoom will increase, making things much clearer. So with that, I would like to conclude the video, and I hope you found this useful. and we've got upcoming videos that I'd like to share with you, and I'd encourage you to view those videos as well.